finally got the old girl going. Had a bit of trouble with it, trying to get it to start. We didn't know whether it was the battery, and then we thought it was the starter, and then we thought it was the battery again. But we finally think we've figured it out, because we put a new starter motor on because all the jump leads and charging in the world didn't seem to want to get the battery would turn the tractor over, but very, very slowly. But it would keep doing it for a long time, which made us think that it was the starter motor and not the battery. So I ordered a new starter. We put that on, but that didn't seem to solve the problem. It didn't seem to be any different. And then last week Mark couldn't seem to be able to get any fuel, and while he was trying to get it going, the battery died. So we were starting to think maybe it was the battery that was knackered, but Dan gave it one more go. He put it on charge for 24 hours or maybe longer, and then last night he tried it. For some reason at like 7 o'clock at night he decided to try and start the tractor when we didn't even need it, but it fired straight up, so without touching the fuel or anything. So we'd no idea why Mark couldn't get it going. Must have had a bit of an airlock or something. So anyway, he turned it off. I put it back on charge for an hour or two this morning, and then I've just started it now and it fired up straight away. And the starter motor's turning over way quicker than the old one did. It's starting up within a couple, like 2 or 3 seconds, as opposed to like 10 seconds. So yeah, finally. And I've just put the flail topper on, greased it up, and then I'm going to go and do a bit of flailing. Another field that hopefully I'll take on this year to cut. It's another one of these organic fields that's not been maintained for 10 years or more. So it needs a lot of flailing back and trees dealing with, either cutting back or digging out, one of the two. So I thought I'd just go and have a go with the flail anyway and see how I get on. It's done quite a lot of work, this flail, over the years. We've had it, my dad bought it from new, well, my mum and dad, and it's only ever flailed heavy stuff. It's done a small amount of grass topping, but most of what it's done has been heavy duty brambles and brash, and it's had a new set of flails and a new set of bearings, and it's been rebalanced because it got very vibraty a couple of years back, and the flails were pretty worn out. So I put a new set of flails on thinking it'll either make it better or make it worse, and it made it worse, a lot worse. So we took the rotor off and sent it away to be balanced, which cost quite a lot of money really in hindsight, but not as much as a new one. So we had it rebalanced, new bearings on, it's had roller bearings, and it's fine now. But it's not like new, it's still, I don't know, it probably vibrates a little bit more than it should, but not bad enough to do it to bother getting it rebalanced again. So yeah, it's a hell of a thing, hell of a handy piece of kit. We could just do with a bigger one really to go on the bigger tractors, because it's the right size flail for this tractor, but in some wet grass it'll absolutely kill that tractor. But if you're flailing brash or brambles, it just eats it. Doesn't even know it's there. Anyway, I'm going to throw some fuel in and go and have a go. Well, I'm pretty well stuck. I came round here for the second time. The first time round, it never touched the surface. Second time round, it started digging in here, and then it just dug in and dug in and dug in, and I shunted back in two or three times. I managed to get out of these deep ruts down into the pond, and then it wouldn't pull out of the pond. I think if it had clean treads it might have done, but very unlikely. Yeah, it's bizarre. Look how it travelled the first time round, this pond. not even marked the ground, the tyres. You can just about see where that tyre's run, that wheel's run. And then the second time, look at that. I just couldn't believe it. You would not believe how wet that is the second time round. So I'm just waiting for Dan to come. Hopefully he'll bring the case and give me a pull. Where I've been working down the other side of this field is loads drier, it's bone dry. And then this top part of the field is like a bog. The pond's pretty empty actually. I think when Dan gets his mole plough up and running, this would be a great place to try it out, because it wants mole ploughing from this pond right up onto the banks. You see how there's rushes growing. But yeah, to another field where the wettest part of the field is right in the gateway. The gateway is in that corner, and that's the wettest part of the field. So it's going to be an absolute nightmare trying to get bales off here. But yeah, it was going well up to then. I've cleared a big area down the bottom. I was just going to go around this pond twice just to tidy it up, and then over there along that road there's like a 12-metre strip of solid bramble. I was going to go and work on that just on my way out, but what a fail. I just can't believe it. Look at the way it's travelled here, bone dry, not a mark. This is like fern, this, it's horrible. They've got great big clumpy roots, and yeah, the flail doesn't really like that. But there's not a lot of ground, there's not as much ground to be gained as I was hoping, to be honest. We've done, so yeah, where I've been working is down there. There's a fair bit of ground to be gained around those trees if all the trees could be lifted up. And then this edge, obviously, there's loads of willow, and there's a big clump of blackthorn down there, which that stuff would have to be dug out with a digger, because it's horrible stuff to try and flail. It just gets wrapped around your flail. But no, I think, to be honest, without having a digger and a chainsaw and maybe a tractor to pull stuff out, I don't think there's a lot more I can do with a flail mower. I thought there'd be more, to be honest. So I'll have to try and get in touch with the landlord and see how far we can go. So far I just said, can I go in and tidy it up with a flail, and he was mad keen. He was like, yeah, go and, that'll be great. But how many trees I can take out? There's loads of saplings, but there's also loads of trees that have been planted, so it's a job to know which ones are just sapling overgrowth and which ones have actually been put there for a reason. But yeah, what a mess. It's not very often you get this thing stuck. Normally if you can lift your topper up and it'll just pull out of a wet patch, but it was not pulling out of there. Well, Dan's arrived. The question is, will he get stuck? I'm very, very worried that we're all going to end up stuck if we're not careful, because this is not a dry field. Look at that, riding like a dream. Oh, it's squashy. It's a tad squishy there. I think you're going to want to head back the way you came. It's wet there. I think we're all going to get stuck. Yeah, a bit of a mole update. I've just abandoned that flailing job and I thought I'd just call in. I was coming past this field on the way home. This is where I've been trying to catch moles. This trap here has been in for about 3 days now, and since I've put it in, because these were fresh molehills when I put it in, since I've got it in, there's been no more activity. So I'm just wondering whether to give it another day or take it out and relocate it. It's a job to know, isn't it? I don't know whether you're best checking mole traps like every day or leave them for a week or what. I have caught one mole. I caught one up there, I think. Yeah, I just don't know what's the best thing to do, because I've got loads of other runs in different fields, but I wanted to sort of clear this field first before I moved on. But the activity is very, very slow. I've sort of trampled down all the molehills in the field that I know about, and every day I come back there's very, very little activity. And yet I know for a fact that if I was to come and roll the field, there'd be fresh molehills everywhere the next day if you squashed all their runs. So I'll go and check my other ones anyway and see if there's any new molehills over there. Haven't brought a bag. I've got about 5 traps now. Bought a couple more, because if you're going to come all the way to a field away from the farm to check, I think you want to make it worthwhile. So 5, I don't know, maybe more would be better, but 5 gives you a decent amount of chances. These have all been squashed, nothing new here. Oh look, that's a new molehill, and that's a new molehill, and this trap has gone off. So let's see what we think. I haven't had a great amount of luck with these scissor traps. Nothing. How annoying. I thought we'd had one then. So something set it off, but it's got away, unfortunately. There's definitely some activity here though, so I'll reset that. So far I've caught one with these and one with the tunnel trap, so I couldn't really tell you which I prefer. These are really quick and easy to set, and obviously you're less likely to lose your trap because they stick out of the ground. That one's not gone off. But the other ones you could potentially catch 2 in one go with the tunnel traps. It's just a job to know how much to cover them up and whether you can bloody find the things. I can't remember where I've put my other one though. There's one there. There should be one more somewhere. And try and stick a fence post in, but yeah, I'll have a look. Mr. Mole, finally got one. Another one with me tunnel trap. That's good. I'll go over there now and see. This camera's terrible. We'll go over there now and check my other ones, and then I think I'm going to relocate to a different field because there's not a lot of activity going on here now. No luck. This one's playing hard to get. That's the second time he's set me trap off now. He's playing very hard to get. He's not set that one off. He's not set that one off. Oh, I don't know what to do. I kind of want to persevere and get that one, because it's he's still making a mess. So I might try him with my tunnel trap over there. Leave this one where it is. Well, we just moved. Yesterday we moved to this field. This is what we call Sterling's. And we set mole traps all along here. No, it's the day before yesterday, sorry. We caught one up that end yesterday, and we reset it. There's literally moles all the way along this bank through into the next field. It's horrendous, so there's gonna be quite a few moles to try and catch. Yesterday I came in with the chain harrows on the case and just whipped over all the molehills that are in that direction, just flatten them all down, level them off, and then if there's still activity we'll see the new activity, because when there's just hundreds of molehills everywhere it's really difficult to pick out the fresh activity. And then I ended up harrowing quite a big chunk of this block of land actually, because there's loads of muck that was lying on the top. I mean, all the muck that's been on this field was spread, apart from a little bit, most of it was spread before Christmas, and normally you'd think you're pretty safe before Christmas for it to rot away, but there's some big clumps of strawy stuff that just needed a bit of harrowing in, and because we haven't had a huge amount of rain, like this for example, this bit here, I've harrowed over that and smashed it up a bit, but you'd expect that to be well rotten by now, considering it's been down on the ground a couple of months. But anyway, this is the mole run. I never harrowed this bit because obviously I've got all my traps here, but this is the run we're working on. I've just come down this morning. This trap's gone off. Oh yeah, we got one. That's quite a big one. That's quite a big mole, that. So that's 2 we've caught in this run so far. So I might be tempted to move on. I can't remember where my other trap is. That one's not gone off. Where else? I just can't believe how much mess they make. How much mess they've made in this field. That one's not gone off either. And neither's that one. So I might relocate these ones. I'm not sure what to do. Might relocate them up to a different run. Although that looks like quite a fresh little... That looks like a bit of a fresh hole lot. Anyway, I'll go and check me one up on the bank and see. This is the other one up on the bank. This one's gone off as well. No mole. Ah, that's annoying. It's annoying when that happens. So I might reset that. There's no new activity. I sort of harrowed all this area yesterday. So there's no new molehills. So anyway, yeah, it's a very heavy moley video, this one, but it seems to be the centre of my focus at the moment. Look at that. I don't know if you can see in that field next door. Look at the molehills. They're everywhere. It's like a ploughed field. They just seem to be everywhere. All along this bank and then through into the next field there's runs, and they like start down at the bottom of the bank and come right up to here. So anyway, we're hoping Dan's going to get his mole plough finished, because I reckon we could have a go in this field at once. Where all that sedge grass is up there, all those rushes, there's a pit full of water, so we want to drop the mole plough into this ditch, which is a deep ditch, and then run it up into that pit. And when I've borrowed a mole plough to do it in the past, it's just drained it overnight, drains the water, and then that whole area of the field at the top just dries out. And then we could do with maybe running some from that corner, although it might be a bit too wet. When I went down there with the harrows, it was a bit wet on the surface down there, but it really wants coming all the way up into that top corner because that's wet as well. Anyway, loads of things to do when he finishes his mole plough. Yeah, so here's a run of molehills that I levelled off yesterday with the harrows. So any that pop up, nothing. Oh, there is a bit of activity actually. Any activity now should be really obvious. See there and there. That's fresh since yesterday. So I've just actually set all my mole traps, but tomorrow I'll come down and set a trap there. I'm just looking at this. I've put a load of muck on here, and I'm just wondering whether. What do you think? Do you think this is going to wash in? There's not a huge amount of rain in the forecast. We had a little bit of drizzle in the night. Hit this bit, obviously. I had my spreader turned up way too high, but I turned it down to put a bit of a lighter covering on. But I'm just wondering whether I'm doing the right thing. If there was a lot of rain in the forecast, I'd be getting it on everywhere, but forecast looks very, very dry, so I just wonder whether this is going to dry up. And I don't know whether it's better to get it rolled in sooner rather than later. Yeah, it's a job to know. Well, I will want to be getting on this field with a roller in the next week or so, I would have said, because it's going to go too dry. And there's places that I want to get levelled off that will need rolling, because if it gets too dry, the roller won't really do anything. So that's new. Morning, it's the 10th of March. Just come out early doors just to do a bit of harrowing. The main reason I'm harrowing is because I'm trying to just locate all the molehills across some of my fields. So pretty sure there's some molehills along that side of this field, so I'm just going to try and harrow everything level. Also, this field had a lot of muck on in the back end of last year in the autumn, so any big bits of muck I'm just smashing up. Just trying to level the field off a bit, really. The conditions seem pretty good. There's one or two places down the far end of the field of each end, both ends are quite wet, but in the middle of the field it's fine. But both ends I think could benefit from Dan's mole plough, because there's a really steep drop off in this corner that goes to a ditch, so he could mole plough along the end of this field, and that might have a decent impact on the ground, and the same again the other end of the field. So you have to excuse my dirty windows. But yeah, it's going quite well. We've just got a little bit of a dew on this morning, so it's very easy to see where I've been. But yeah, I'm just gonna. The plan with this field, it's a bit of a sponge. If you look at it, it's not wet, but it's very spongy. Is the only way I can describe it. So over the next, well, certainly this year, I'm going to try and just keep sprinkling muck on. Try and just get the levels up a bit, because I'm never going to get any massive yields off it until I get the PK levels up and improve the soil a bit. So that's the plan. There's a big lump of muck. The next job will be rolling. I want to try and get some rolling done. I would say this field's dry enough to roll. So yeah, that'll be one of the next jobs, dragging my roller out. Unfortunately, it's in a very wet field, so I'll have to just go take it from the field and bring it over here, I think. But I'm probably going to spend most of the morning harrowing. This is the biggest field, and I've got a couple of other little fields to do, just to try and locate where all the moles are, level all the old molehills off, so that I can see if there's any fresh activity after I've harrowed, which worked quite well in the other Sterling's field. I've caught 2 moles on there so far, so working my way across the field. So yeah, it's going well. Chain harrows are very noisy. You can't really have your back window open for too long, it'll give you a headache. We're just in what I call a 9-acre field now, and this is the first field I tried to catch some moles in, and there was I caught one mole in this field and there wasn't a lot of activity, but since I've come out of it, there's been loads of molehills all across it, so I'm going to have to come back into here. This is the wettest part of the field. I don't know whether I should be driving through it really. Just about getting away with it. What I'm noticing from this field is there's loads of dead grass in the bottom that the harrows are ripping up. It's like it's leaving the field looking like it's almost had muck spread on it. It did have muck spread on it. Oh, I think it was sort of straight after the second cut we did, so it would have been August, maybe September, I'm not sure. No evidence of any muck now. Everything that you're seeing lying on the top of here is dead grass that it's scratching up from the bottom. So I can only assume that it's doing good, because it sort of gives, if you pull the dead grass out, hopefully it will give a bit more light to the grass that's alive and growing. That's the theory, I suppose. My dog's come and joined me. There's nobody at home today because Dan's gone away for the weekend, so he won't be back till later. So the dog obviously heard me working in this field, which is only the other side of those trees at our yard. So he's come and found me, so he's now sat in the cab, stinking the cab out. So yeah, happy days. Well, I'm just on my way back from doing some grass harrowing, and I've just called in at this field to check my mole traps, and I've got a bingo. Got two of them in one trap. So I'm pretty chuffed about that. Unfortunately, none of my other traps have gone off. I had one here, which I'll probably move now, because I think now we've got them two, I might as well go over them. There's some fresh molehills over there, I might try. But what I'm realising is the moles seem to be making mess quicker than I can catch them and harrow it down at the moment, but we'll keep trying. So I'm just a bit further up the field from where I've just caught those two, and this field I harrowed it, chain harrowed it about 3 or 4 days ago. These are all new molehills from then. You can see the ones that have been hit with the harrows, but all those are new. That's new. And all the way up the field there's new molehills, all the way across the field, all of these. So I don't know, I predict that there's at least, I don't know, there's definitely one or two up there, there's one here. This I would say is probably a different run again, so I don't know, there's a few moles just on this patch. Another one. I've forgotten to pick my camera up, so I'm using my phone, but yesterday I was out, we went out for the day into North Wales, and driving around, never seen so many molehills in like sheep fields, grazing fields. Like some fields look like ploughed fields. I don't know whether it's been a really good season, a really good sort of breeding season for moles, or whether it's just because I'm trying to catch moles myself that molehills are just standing out to me because I'm looking for them. But it just seems as though they're everywhere, absolutely everywhere. They're certainly not they're not endangered around here. But yeah, it's like a full-time job. If I had, I don't know, if I had like 100 traps to go around every day, it'd keep you busy this time of the year, wouldn't it? It's the sort of thing that would be quite a good thing to do in retirement, you know, and just see if you can find farmers to just pay you a couple of quid for each mole. And just, it's not a bad little thing to do, especially when the weather's nice like this. I mean, if it's horribly wet and cold, you can't really catch them anyway, because all your runs just get flooded and they go deeper underground. But yeah, it's not a bad job. Might consider it for my retirement in 20 years. Tuesday, the 11th of March. Dan's still working on his mole plough. He's just welding on the bottom link brackets. So he's had these laser cut from a precision engineer. He drew them up on his computer and then sent them the plans, and they just made them for him. They weren't cheap, but at least it was all exactly how he wanted it and just ready to weld on.
20mm thick, so it shouldn't bend.
20mm thick, so it's quite sturdy. Because the previous mold plough, well, the way this mold plough was before, it was, where's the old frame? That was the bottom link bar, and that bottom link pin just snapped off. The whole bar bent, even when it had an A-frame support, and I think that pin's just welded on. So this is considerably heavier duty. And then we've got an expander to go on behind the. That'll go on behind the knife, so it'll fix on here and it'll drag it along, and then he's still got to fix his disc. The disc is going to be mounted up here somewhere, but he wants it so that you can move it with a hydraulic ram to control your depth. So there'll be the disc with a skid, will there? That's the idea, so he's got that to do. And I think he's going to run that piece of tube from the top of here to the top of the top link. So yeah, it's coming along slowly. We've just been and tidied up some more of that fallen oak tree. So I've got a trailer load of logs. So that's what I've been doing this afternoon. They're getting to the point where I've done all the small stuff and we're left with this sort of size stuff, which means it's getting a bit heavy to lift by hand. So I think I've cleared the field, so it's all ready to sort of roll, harrow and roll now, when it's not dry enough to do it yet in that field. But so I'm hoping that maybe after first cut, if we've got the time, we'll nip in and just chop the rest of the big rings of the tree up. When it's dry and we can lift them with the loader tractor. Been doing a bit of work fettling up the chain harrows, just welding a couple of broken bits of chain, shortening the back chains because it was dragging along the floor. We've ordered the bushes for this mower. There's nylon bushes in the bottom of this pivot. We haven't taken it apart yet, but we've ordered them. So we'll sort of figure that out as and when they arrive, and then we'll take it to bits. I'm just thinking I'm going to try and tip these logs, but I'm not sure how I'm going to get them in here. I might have to take these wires down. You can see them, the camera barely picks them up. And I just want to push these up with the JCB into a pile. Oh, I did want to cut that hedge. I might cut that hedge first, actually. Yeah, I might do that. So I can tip that trailer off, and then I can put this trailer of straw back in the shed. So yeah, that's what we've been doing. Just bits and bobs, really. It's lovely and dry. Look at the yard. It's just bone dry. It's really nice. I've caught another 2 moles. Caught 2 moles today, and I got a double caught 2 yesterday. So I'm slowly working my way through the moles. We've just talked to a chap who I rent the field that I'm catching the moles in now, and he's offered us another field, another 10 acre, which is really good, which is a grass field, which needs a bit of work. Not much work, but it's already got a grass lay in it, quite a new grass lay. But there's a lot of docks, so it needs spraying. It needs harrowing, spraying, and then hopefully we may maybe try and cut it for hay this year. So it's another 10 acres. I'm still in talks with taking on that 14 acre field that we had last year, which had fast grass in it. And then yeah, there's that field where I got that tractor stuck, is like a 6 or 7 acre field that was supposed to be trying to tackle this year, but the way it is at the moment, it's just like another bog. So I'm not massively excited about that, really. But there's loads to do. We've also got a couple of jobs to do, digger jobs. We're waiting on the... We've had our washdown plan for the hen sheds approved by the Environment Agency in terms of the water waste. So we're just waiting for the OK from the APHA, and then, but which could be, it could come this afternoon, tomorrow, or it could come in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks time. We have no idea, so we're just in limbo at the moment. We don't know whether we're going to start mucking out pressure washing tomorrow or in a month's time, so it's kind of frustrating, but we're just trying to make the most of the time and getting some jobs done. This was a roller that I bought last year in a sale. I never got around to going and picking it up. Just gone and got it now. It looks as though the frame's pretty solid, but the barrels themselves are very, very dinted. And they don't seem like they've got a lot of metal left on them. I can't imagine they're going to hold water, but my plan with this was to, because it had a solid frame, to try and make it into one that has got a set of wheels on the back that you can lift it off the ground to take it down the road. But looking at the barrels now, I'm starting to think maybe it's not really worth it, but I don't know. We're just going to see if we can get the plugs out, find out whether it holds water, because it doesn't seem very heavy at the moment. So we're going to do that. Sorry, the other way around. The back ones are a lot better than the front ones. Dan's put some super strong LED ones on the back, which they're almost up close. They're almost a bit too bright. They haven't got a lot of distance. What I noticed with LED lights, they don't shine very far, but they don't half light up the immediate vicinity behind you. Whereas the front ones are the old original lights. They're not very bright at all. In fact, if you turn the headlights off, that's all you can see. I mean, other than just being able to see my wheels and my mudguard and my bumper, they're just of no use at all. So it needs like a full light upgrade, really, this tractor. It's a good roller, this though. I'm quite happy with it. This is my new one. I think it's a better roller than the other one I've got in some ways. It's got a little leak in the middle. It's weird. Sometimes you can see it leaking, and other times it doesn't leak at all. It just keeps clogging itself up. It's like a pinprick hole in between, on the side of one of the rollers in the middle. Well, I've just finished rolling this block of land this morning. I had about 4 or 5 acres left to do, so I've just finished that off. I'm just going to nip over here to check my mole traps. Start with this one, and then probably try and end the video here because it's probably gone on long enough. Halfway through March today, 15th of March, Saturday. So I'll just have one last look. Reset quite a few of these traps yesterday. That one's not gone off. But there's no new molehills, so I suppose that's a good thing. But over here there was a couple, I rolled this yesterday morning, and then there was a couple more that had sprouted up. There's one. That looks pretty fresh actually. Oh, nothing happened there either. I was hoping to catch that one. I thought that might be the last one before I pack it in this field and go to a different one. This one hasn't gone off either. Oh well, it's been a quiet night for the moles. I've got one more to check at the bottom of this field, which I think is very, very unlikely because it's been there for a few days and there's no activity. So yeah, anyway, we'll end the video here. I've just spoken to my neighbour and he wants some topping doing and a bit of tree work, bit of fencing, so more jobs to do. So hopefully there'll be a bit going on in the next video, which will be the second half of March. There'll be a bit of everything hopefully coming up in the next couple of weeks. Looks like we've got another week of dry weather before we can get back to showers, so try and get as much as we can done in this next week. So yeah, should be busy. Thanks for watching anyway, we'll see you in the next one.